Hello and welcome to episode 58 of the Critical Twit Gaming Podcast, and our third ever instalment of Netrunner Noobs, where I'm going to be talking about my first ever Netrunner tournament. Hello and welcome to the Critical Twits Gaming Podcast. I'm Brian Ennis.
I'm Joe Lewin.
And I'm Jerry Myland.
And we have been playing a lot of Netrunner.
Yeah, a heck of a lot.
Now, if you haven't tuned in before, this is the third instalment of our Netrunner-based series of podcasts. We aim to release about one every month.
Yep.
We are building up to a competition between myself and Aaron, who sadly couldn't join us today, whereby as Netrunner Noobs, me and Aaron are competing. We're building up to a joint store championship. I've been taken under Jamie's wing, Aaron's been taken under Joe's wing, and they are training us up and setting us at each other to compete. Now, we do have a time for the tournament, for the competition.
We do, yes.
With any luck, yeah.
To cap this series. However, I will immediately say I've been enjoying playing Netrunner so much that the series will continue after this. We may just rename it. I don't feel like a noob anymore.
No.
You've learned a lot in a short space of time.
What we're going to have a look at today is I went to a tournament. Again, Aaron couldn't make it. It wasn't a standard tournament. It wasn't a go along, be really competitive, bring any deck you like as long as it's legal.
Yeah.
And CTM and Anarch and Wizard. But it was actually a charity tournament that is held once a year called Charity Gift. Mm-hmm. And it has an interesting premise where everybody is playing a different pair of identities. So we'll talk about that.
Yep.
And my experience at my first tournament. I'm not much of a... It's bizarre. I really like social games, but I'm not one for competitive social games.
Well, no, you are. You love competitive social games.
But strangers.
Not with strangers,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't play well with strangers. So we'll run you through my experiences there.
We'll also talk about my trying to get my head around Anarch after playing Shape Up for far too long.
Yes, yeah, because it was actually quite challenging for all of us because of the format of the tournament. We'll also share some tips for anyone else out there who might be going into tournament season fresh. Mm-hmm. And the kind of things that you can do and things that will help you in a tournament setting. And we will also share our thoughts about the upcoming Legacy-style expansion for Netrunner, Terminal Directive. Mm-hmm. But first of all, Charity Gift.
Yes.
I had an amazing time. I'm gonna throw it out there straight away.
I did too. It was brilliant.
It was great. I want to say first proper Netrunner tournament for most of us, because it was the first big Netrunner
First big one.
tournament.
We've played local store championships with smaller numbers.
Game night kits, not championships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are the two sort of experienced members of the group, but I think this is the first time you've sort of travelled well out of your way to a big organised event. There were 32 players.
Yes.
And as I said, it was for charity.
Yep.
So the way they raised the money for charity was they put up some pairs of IDs. Now, in each pair, one was revealed, so you knew one of the people you would get. The other one, there was a cryptic clue.
There was.
And when I say cryptic clue...
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, some, you could go, it's this one, that's this one, that's this one. Others, even when told who it was, you would go...
Why?
Huh?
Yeah, so thank you very much, first of all, to Richard Hammond. Not that one, the nice one, not the racist, horrible, homophobic little
one
midget.
that won't eat ice cream.
Yeah, in case he decides he wants to bum people. Richard, if you're listening, the other one, not the nice one. If every time you eat ice cream you want to have sex with a man, I don't think it's the ice cream's fault. Just thought we'd let him know.
But it might be. That's what happens when I eat ice cream, Brian. I just don't mind it.
How are you eating it?
Mostly sucking it off the stick.
I suppose a twister is quite a phallic object, isn't it? If you were to deep throat it.
Calypso.
We've just had a big conversation about how we need to have snappy introductions, and now I'm talking about deep throating twisters. I do apologise.
It is funny, however, so people might still listen.
Maybe.
Please keep listening.
thank you very much, because overall they raised over £1,000, about 1,300. My best guess. Lots of money.
It might have been more than that, but
Lots
yeah,
of
it was a
money.
lot of money.
Proper money, raising over £1,000 for Sheffield Children's Hospital. So a great cause.
Yep.
And we did get an interview with Richard.
Yes.
It was a really good interview.
Yes. I wasn't involved in this, but it's legendary, mostly because it died due to technical.
I was interviewing. Jamie was doing the technical recording side of things. We did it over the internet because we were going to do it at the end of the tournament on the day, and
We were all shattered.
I was tired. Richard was tired. We had to go home. I had to drive us home, and we all just kind of wanted to die. So
Yeah, I'd seen some things, man, and some stuff.
all those cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, we thought, no, that's cool. We spoke to him, said, yeah, we'll do it online, and we did, and it was awesome. He's been on a few other things. I know he's ranked quite highly in a couple of tournaments recently as well.
The interview does technically still exist, but it does sound very much like Rob Brydon's Small Man in a Box.
Yeah. So we will try to sort of redo that or sort something out.
Yeah,
or maybe
definitely.
contact
Transcribe
Richard
it.
and get it again, and we'll let you know what's there. So thank you so much for being so kind. Sorry we messed up.
Yeah.
The way it worked, you would bid in an auction style for the different ID pairs. There was a raffle where you could
You'd buy
win.
a ticket, as it were,
Yeah.
and win promos and alt arts and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. So very, very, very good cause. And I know Richard put a lot of effort into getting it.
Yes,
getting
this has
it
been the
running.
second one he's done.
Yes.
I believe there'll be another one next year.
Yeah. Now
It was very
this
well
year.
organised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you may have guessed by the charity, it takes place in Sheffield.
Yes.
We travel quite a long way. Peterborough to Sheffield took us about
2.5 hours.
2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Just over 2 hours, yeah.
To get there. I know you two were very interested in going and were
Yeah.
bidding, and the reason I ended up going along was because Joe was so successful and so charitable that you won 2 pairs of IDs.
Yeah, so what they said is if you don't have someone that wants to take one of the IDs off you, they would go into a last attempt bidding thing.
Yeah.
So it's like a third, because they were releasing 2 sets of 16.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think to offer Brian, because I know he's anti-tournament and it's a long way away and it's a game that he's not overly confident with.
Yeah.
Kind of. And so, yeah, but you messaged me going, apparently you've got 2.
Yeah, because I saw it. I put myself down as interested.
Yeah.
Because I knew you guys were going, and
Yeah.
I could just kind of follow along and see what was happening. I think the fact it was for charity, and also
And not
my
super competitive.
Yeah, it's not going to be super competitive because it's not kind of a ranked thing where you're going to get a buy into nationals.
You
or...
don't have to play against 15 different versions of CTM and Wizard.
Yes. Yeah.
At most one.
Yeah, one of the things I really like about Netrunner is the diversity of cards, of IDs, of decks, of styles. And this game made everyone play differently, because even if you bid for the thing that you really like, you're going to get something else.
Yeah, so Joe, did you get the thing you really wanted initially?
Kind of. I really, because I've taken a liking recently to Kronos Protocol, the Jinteki ID, and that's what I initially bid on and didn't get. So I then bid on Gabe, because I like playing Criminal, and thought, and also one of the reasons I stopped bidding on Kronos Protocol was because it was paired with Exile, and he's rubbish. And so yeah, I got Gabe, which I was happy, and then we found out after trying to figure out what it was paired with. We thought it might be Blue Sun for a bit. That it was New Angelus Soul, an ID I've been playing lots of previously.
Yeah,
So
so accidentally.
I kind of lucked out in getting a pretty standard Criminal, which is a faction I enjoy at least. And then
Gabe's good.
Gabe's okay.
I'm the noob here. I look at Gabe and go, "Oh, he's really good."
See, I prefer Nero personally.
Yes.
Out of the,
Yeah.
But yeah, I got New Angelus Soul and decided to tweak what I'd been playing before and take that along, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had recently been learning how to play Surfer Kit. So my initial thought was I was going to maybe try and and bid for kit, but was very quickly outbid on that, more than I was, happy to pay initially. So my other corp that I'm very familiar with is Jinteki Personal Evolution.
Yeah.
So that became my fallback. So I ended up bidding that one and winning on that.
Yeah.
The paired ID with that, based on the cryptic clue, I initially thought was going to be Apex, and I kind of resigned myself to playing as Apex, even though I wasn't totally confident with the idea.
Because you were saying to me, because I've been playing a bit of Apex,
Yeah.
I plan on going back to it at some point because I think I like the thematics.
Was it like can I borrow your deck?
Well, yeah, like
Yeah.
Can you teach me what I need to do to make this actually work?
Yeah, that's what I basically said to Joe.
Yeah.
And then the IDs were revealed, and it turned out I had got Max,
Yes.
which was actually a competitive deck, and suddenly I felt a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you went against my advice of what to play and
Of
played
course.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the process of, because everyone was playing something slightly different, because you hadn't played much Gabe up until then. So your
I've been playing a
preparations-
lot of Leela, who
Yeah.
plays very differently.
Yeah, so your preparations were focused around that. Jamie, your preparations were mostly focused around playing
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
And I really like, what was the most cards you managed to squeeze into your Max deck
Well,
at the
you see,
beginning?
I tried a lot of different things, and Max does burn through the deck very quickly. And again, I'm very used to playing the Shaper kind of slow build up your rig game.
Just for anyone that is new to it,
Yeah.
beginning of a turn with Max, you trash the top 2 cards off your stack and
Yeah.
then draw a card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every turn.
Yeah.
So she goes through 3 cards per turn compared to 0
Yes.
for everyone else.
You don't have to slow down to draw cards.
Yeah, you get draw. It's great. And the first couple of games I played with Max, I just didn't get it because I just wasn't used to that playstyle. So it was too fast, and I didn't have the things I needed to be able to do the things I wanted to do. So I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to just try and play Max like a Shaper and see how that goes. Which was, I don't know, initially a bad idea. It then became an okay idea, and then ended up throwing it out the window anyway, because I ended up going with the whole idea of prepaid Kate, which was very popular about just over a year ago, and I really like playing with prepaid Kate, and that was a deck that relied on you having things in your heap to be able to recur and use.
So you were thinking of like a prepaid Max,
Exactly.
which sounds like a financial product. You
Well,
might go and like get offered in a bit of junk mail.
I nicknamed it prepaid hate.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, and so I built this deck, and I kept wanting to put more in there, and I had the recursion, and at one point I managed to get the deck up to something like 86 cards, but was weirdly still a little bit consistent because of the way you're burning through the cards.
Yes.
And it did work. I won some games with it, but it was a bit too much. Managed to pare it down to somewhere in the region of about 50 cards.
Yeah.
And it became a lot more effective. But I ended up taking this prepaid deck, so using prepaid voice pads and recursion to be able to play events very cheaply.
Yeah.
And just be able to, just be able to get out there and get everything I needed very quickly.
Yes. Now, I got Joe's cast-offs.
You did?
I had been playing, long-time listeners will know, my goal was to play 100 games with Argus, the Wayland ID that murders people, and 100 games with Noise, the Anarch who kind of infects things with viruses. So obviously I ended up with Nero, the criminal,
Yep.
and I ended up with Cybernetics Division for HB. 2 factions I'd never played before, because I've only been playing since the very end of August, beginning of September. So brand new factions, brand new IDs, and probably very different styles of playing.
Well, definitely very different styles of
Yeah.
to what you were doing.
Yeah, I'm looking at you two for that, because it felt very
No,
different.
it was very different.
Yeah. Well, that's the important thing, whether or not it feels different to play.
And so I ended up with sort of 2 weeks to try to build and learn 2 very different ways of playing a game I was still quite new to.
Yeah, I mean, we sat and went through...
Sorry.
we sat and went through a bunch of different archetypes that can run in Cybernetics Division on Jinteki, and went, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, let's try killing them, let's try butchering their hand size, let's try ignoring all of that and doing something completely different, normal HB shenanigans, and trying to find something you liked.
Yeah, and also I lent on Joe because you were the criminal player.
Yeah.
And went, can I try your criminal deck and I'll just put Nero in it and see how it goes. And then sort of made adjustments and built on from there. Hernando Cortez made his way in because of his fabulous moustache. I had a slot left and I was just like, I want a moustache. I was always a fan of the Adams family and Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
For that reason.
I don't know whether it's because I like him.
He is Net Gomez.
He is Net Gomez, yeah. Looks like some kind of net pervert, isn't he? Anyway, I've overstretched the metaphor. Yeah, so it was quite interesting to suddenly start playing the game in quite a different way. I suddenly realised that I much preferred the criminal way of playing. Being Anarch and being Noise, I was used to building up slowly because I'm trying to get a lot of virus tokens down and that kind of thing. Especially things like Darwin and trying to build it up, and not having a lot of money and having to sort of recur cash all the time and hope to get various other things. And then going into a faction that can run into HQ and steal money off of the Corp. That can force them to res things that they don't want to res with forged activation orders, with being able to bypass the first bit of ice you encounter each turn. We've been playing a few games today as well, and just because it's slightly fresher, playing against Joe, and you hid was it Oaktown or Hollywood?
Oaktown.
There's Oaktown behind a single piece of really nasty ice.
Well, it's a curtain wall.
Yeah.
Strength 10, piss off, this is mine.
So I just bypassed it and stole it.
Oh, it was sad.
Yes. Can't do that in Anarch. I quite like that. I like the tricks of Criminal more, and I think maybe actually they might fit the play style I'm developing, or at least my approach to the game,
They're
or what
far
I
more
find interesting.
aggressive.
Yeah, I want it to be aggressive Anarch. You think, yeah, go smash things, bang, 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 bang.
Well, I mean,
but actually, Criminals are really...
As a side that we'll talk about later, I think, we've all... Well, I know at least me and you have had quite substantial shifts in what we've played and how we like playing.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I was playing Criminals, and I've not played Criminals in quite a long time now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's definitely developed me as a player. Now, Cybernetics Division, I found much harder to get my head round. The ability on that reduces your opponent's hands. Both players, have their hand size reduced by 1. Now, one of the things that a lot of people seem to have realised is this makes the runner easier to kill. But you are in the brain damage faction. HB does a lot of brain damage. It doesn't do a lot of meat, doesn't do a lot of nets. You have to kind of buy that in. So I went for, eventually after playing some various different types, you can actually find some of our actual plays that we've been posting recently are from the time of us trying out these different things. I tried a power shutdown deck and it made me go really cross-eyed because I went, I've lost. Oh no, hang on, can I undo one thing? Click, 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 click. It's when we were playing on Jinteki.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually won.
yes.
Yeah, that was weird. And I think it was maybe a little bit too advanced for me and maybe a little bit too gimmicky. I'm not a fan of sort of gimmick decks that do one thing. Like the Valencia DLR deck that you played against me. And I went, you're not playing Netrunner, Joe. It feels weird. You're just trashing all my things. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Very, very sort of different style. Well, this still felt like what I felt to be as a new player Netrunner. But yeah, going with self-destruct chips and the current that doubles the amount of brain damage they take the first time they take brain damage in a turn.
Yes.
So you're trying to force them to run into some brain damage. Lots of traps that do brain damage, or can use the Bioroid Ice's brain damage abilities. Ryan Knight and Marcus Batty, two very nicely performing cards in that particular deck.
Marcus Batty is one of my favourite cards currently because it's how I win with Chronos Protocol.
Yeah, and a lot of people are playing it as a sort of never advance kind of deck where you'd have lots and lots of assets out. And some of them would be agendas, but you're just putting out so many that they're not running them, or it's costing. If they're running into things, they're trying to trash them. Now, I found the decks we found online, the assets were quite cheap to trash. They're sort of pad campaigns and various other bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So what I did is I actually put in stuff that was really expensive to trash. some Jeeves. I love Jeeves. I put in brain taping warehouses. Love brain taping warehouses. Discount on your ice. And other bits and pieces, more economy, Adonis campaigns, things like that. Which then I found was discouraging the runner from running, because if they hit something, they're either going to feel they've got to trash something expensive or bounce off.
Kind of waste a click, really.
Waste a click, and then I could start maybe sneaking things out. But I've ended up kind of building a scoring server in pretty much every game.
Yeah.
I don't feel so comfortable. Occasionally slip one out. I did today. Felt very cunning, but yeah, generally the idea is to reduce their hand size down, and then it's got snares in there to finish them off, or to get them to the point where they've got so few cards in hand they can't keep options, and it sort of slows them down, and they can't get in, they can't do their tricks. Really different way of playing to Argos, which is come at me so I can find where you live and shoot you. And I've actually really enjoyed playing it. It's very, very, very fun. Feel it's helped me learn.
Yeah.
So one thing I would say to anyone else out there who's new, don't be afraid to try new decks. Don't be afraid to try new things, because even if you're like, actually, that doesn't suit me, you will learn things from trying different ways of playing, trying different styles. It'll give you an appreciation of what you might come up against if you're to go to sort of a tournament situation. So the day itself, we were lucky enough to be joined by another player from our meta. Local group, as they say, from our meta, from the Peterborough meta.
Yes.
Is that a thing? Can we have that as a thing?
It is, yeah.
I guess so.
Because I hear about sort of like the Reading meta and the London meta and the Sheffield meta.
It's not amazing, particularly competitive or good, I wouldn't say, but we have one.
There's 7 or 8 of us.
Yeah,
I would have thought. Yeah,
but it revolved a lot around getting rid of virus tokens for a bit because you were running viruses,
and I was doing quite well actually. Yeah. At one point, until everyone worked out.
I think we're about 2 years behind the rest of the world.
Yes, yeah, that's Peterborough for you.
Yeah, true.
We've only recently got a Nando's. Actually, it was actually quite a while ago. It's just I'm old and time seems to go fast now, but still behind everyone else. Yeah, so we there were 4 of us travelling along, and I have to admit I was quite sort of nervous, not being the kind of person that does this kind of thing regularly. The idea of
well, how many competitive, as it were, tournaments have you been to before for games?
1.
Was it a card or board game?
It was a miniatures game.
Yeah,
I played a Warhammer 40,000 tournament in my local games workshop.
So in your local game workshop,
which I may have been working in at the time, so I was fairly comfortable, and I knew all the customers because I worked in the shop.
Well, I mean, I've played at Games Expos. I've travelled for tournaments for HeroClix and this kind of thing. So it's not new ground for me.
Yeah, and I've played in Magic the Gathering tournaments in different places before.
Like when we went to the Board Game Expo and we played some games with some people we hadn't met before. That's absolutely fine, because it's the competitive aspect alongside meeting strangers. I have that particular tournament didn't go particularly well, but just sort of pick up games with strangers when I was younger with various different things, playing Magic in gaming stores and things like that, not in an organised sense, but just with people random, I didn't know. Even the competitive levels of that, I found it can bring out the worst in people.
Oh, definitely.
You know, that pedantry, that kind of, no, you've done that wrong.
Do what I can to win type.
Well, actually, I think if you read the rules upside down while in a bath with your eyes squinting, you could interpret it this way. And I've built my deck around this dodgy interpretation, and now you die because I played 3 cards. Yeah, that kind of thing. And didn't come across any of that.
No.
At Charity Gift. So thank you, everyone I played. Everyone I played was lovely, happy to chat, to discuss, because we were all kind of in the same boat, playing maybe something that we weren't used to.
Yeah.
So it was quite interesting to see maybe people who, I know, Joe, you played people that you had heard of because you follow the tournament scene.
Well, to be honest, the one person that, when I had a brief look at who was turning up, I don't necessarily follow the tournament scene in a big way, but I notice when it goes, so-and-so won a store championship, so-and-so won a store championship, and I noticed Dave Whitaker was coming. So I remember saying to you guys, going, he won some stuff recently, he's bench, he should be really good. It's kind of scary. I played against him, and he was absolutely lovely. Very, very modest, very nice about everything. Really easy to chat to, and I mean, to be fair, I didn't have anyone on the day apart from that bastard playing next.
Really liked that guy.
Right, the guy was amazing, but on turn 3 hit an ABT that pulled out something like, I think it was like Fairchild 2, and a Turing, and ruined all of my fun for that round.
Yeah, that's the agenda that lets you, when you score, it's a 3-2.
3-2,
you look at the top 3 cards of R&D. If they're ice, you get to install and res them for free.
Yes.
If they're not, they go in the archive. So you could dump three agendas. You could dump 7 points of agendas into archive.
It's generally quite a risky card to use.
Yes.
But this bastard. He hit it fantastically, Drew, on it, and I just could not claw my way back into that game.
Yeah.
Because he hit it on the central server, I think, scoring the centrals, and locked me out of everything. I just couldn't get the tempo back after that.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic game. He was a joy to play against.
Yeah.
But as we have talked briefly on Facebook since, he's aware I hate him.
Jamie, how did your games go? How was your feeling of the tournament?
It was very much a educational experience for me. Again, on the run up to the tournament, I've been playing this Max deck, like I said, like a Shaper, and just playing my personal evolution deck, like the way I always have, which is quite slow for both of them. And I found the first couple of games I played went to time.
Yeah.
So I didn't win as much as I'd hoped. It was pretty much drawing each time. But as the games went on, I started to really feel the pressure of the time.
Yeah.
And it made me play Max faster. Especially when I was playing Corp first, playing Jinteki, and taking maybe 50 minutes of the session of a 70 minutes round.
Yeah.
And then only having 20 minutes left to try and turn around the other side. Suddenly I had to play Max like Max is really designed to be played. And I actually started to win games with Max, and suddenly it all clicked. And obviously that's the way it has been supposed to be played. But
that glorious moment when, Joe was right, I should have run this deck.
But actually, the deck itself, even though I was running it faster, still held its own and held together very well. So I was quite pleased with that deck in the end. And actually, it was the Jinteki deck that let me down slightly, even though I was probably more experienced with that one.
Yeah.
There was one game I played which was an experience. A guy called John was playing Ian Sterling, playing with all of the resources, all of the connections. So he was running off-campus apartment, and then putting a massive stack of connections onto these. So he didn't.
He's just storing all of his friends in it.
He had a massive house party, and wasn't really running any programs or hardware or anything really. Just everything he needed to keep himself alive. And again, playing the slow game. He had Guru Davinder out there, so he avoided a lot of the damage I was throwing his way. And he had Temujin, so he had all the money. And it basically we were 4-4 right up till the end of time, and then as time was cool and there was basically one round left, he ran on a Feta AI, survived the damage with a film critic for a timed win. Ooh. So that was quite, because I've never played a game quite like that before. And again, because these games were starting to really take their time, that's what made me have to play faster. And the last 2 games I played, it was really kind of manic. The whole day was about to finish, and I just had to try and win something. So it was taking all of the brain damage, using Amped Up with Max to get the extra clicks I needed, and making many medium runs, and won a couple of games there, and I finally learned how to play Max.
In a relaxed sort of social setting, you wouldn't have played like that at all. I know you're very, very much a deliberate player, and you like to turn your options over.
Think several steps ahead. And,
So I felt pressured because I thought there would be more pressure. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like,
your expectations.
Yeah, my expectations. Actually, none of my games went to time. They all finished.
half of my rounds, or entire rounds, finished halfway through, and at one point I think we went and got a sausage roll.
Yeah.
which was desperately needed at that point. I think the only game of mine that went near time or went to time was the one just before lunch. So I had a shorter lunch break, but managed to get out later on.
Yeah. And one of the things, I mean, I don't understand how Swiss tournaments work. Swiss seems full of holes, other cheese puns. But it...
Some sort of chocolate in there somewhere.
I don't know.
I still don't quite get it, but what I did find was that because it sort of separates you into different, if you win, you go towards the top. If you don't win, you go towards the bottom.
Yeah.
If you draw, you stay in the middle. I started to find sort of by the third, fourth game that I was finding people who were also fairly new and weren't massively huge competitive players, but had maybe come along like me for the fun of it, for the fact that it was helping a charity. I think that kind of what pushed me over. It was like, it will help, and it means that, if you'd have had 31 and I gave up the opportunity to buy a thing, I'd have felt like a complete dick. I'm sure there were lots of other people that would have come along, but so by the end of it, the games had a very different feel to maybe at the beginning, but everyone I played was really nice. Now, by the end of the third round, I was 31 of 32 because the table updates itself as it goes along. Richard was using some wonderful software stroke internet things.
There was an internet site for tracking the tournament progress that was really good because everyone could log on and see the updates and the tables positions,
and it was telling you what table to play on, and he'd come up with a genius system where you would remove a card from each space on the table and it would have the next number underneath, and everyone could find their tables. Really well organised, really smooth, no problems in any way, shape or form, which is something else you worry about, because what if I go to the wrong bit, or I mess up and I try and play the wrong person? The bigger boys might laugh at me. And it was really smooth. The third game though, so I'd played at this point about 70 games with Argus. From the beginning. I would consider myself something of an Argus expert. And this was the end of November, so we were entering the time of Boom had just come out. So Argus were getting sort of extra bits and pieces, and it was very careful. I know as playing Argus, the laminated book of dreams.
Twice you've done that. You missed the first one.
Oh dear. So when I was playing as Argus, I did that on purpose.
No, you didn't. You lied.
I did.
Lie.
I was going to make a joke and you interrupted it, and now it's gone.
Good. Tell the story, damn it, it's funny.
Playing as a criminal, I was like, right, I need to keep them poor. So they can't use psychographics or SEA source or any of these things to tag me. I need to hit HQ to try and get rid of any booms, because it's really powerful, but you can trash it, unlike most operations. So I was like, cool, I've got a plan. I know how I would be playing at this point. This is good. And then in the third turn, I used my last click to account siphon, sat there with 2 tags in the next turn, and got boomed in the face like a fool. And I wanted the ground to swallow me up until I realised quite how funny it was, and then ran around and told everyone. Oh, you guys did tell everyone. That'd be weird.
You in the streets.
But we've played Netrunner for several hours on end, but in a relaxed setting, maybe with some food and a beer and that kind of thing. I haven't ever played, this was the third game in a row, I've never played 3 solid hours of Netrunner without a break, with something new. And my brain was Swiss at that particular point.
That's why they call it that.
It was full of holes. It was starting to melt.
Well, I know by the end of it, we all kind of went, I can see why, when you're watching like the final rounds of Worlds or something, when you go, why did you do that? What are you? Because at this point your brain is mush a lot of the time.
You've played so much. There's that great Shut Up and Sit Down article that Quinn's wrote about the pressure. And I kind of appreciated it because he has a great writing style, and he takes it seriously but not too seriously, and it's a really well written article.
It is.
But I didn't appreciate the truthfulness of what he said about your brain just collapsing like a flat.
I just go, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I'm done.
No, it's just having a complete brain fart because you're thinking about the last game still. You're still processing. I find with Netrunner there's a lot of processing after a game where you go, I should have done this, I could have done that, this card might be useful, make sure you have some of that.
Which when we're playing casually down the pub will be, I'm going to go get a drink or go out for a cigarette.
Or we sit and we talk about it.
That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm thinking of adding this. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have done that, should I? And you talk about it. In this it's like, next game, off you go. And it's like...
A little bit. I mean, I had a little bit less of it because, like I said, none of my rounds lasted that long because I was playing a really aggressive Gabe deck using Keyhole Eater to piss people off. And I remember one particular game going, haha, okay, I shall do... this was my last game of the tournament, actually. And just those little moments where you go, cool, I'll play down New Angela City Hall so I can avoid some tax. But it goes away if I score an agenda. I run in here, I got an agenda. Oh, it goes away. Because you could see the other person was going, oh, no, that trashes.
Yeah.
My brain went, fucking, he doesn't want that on the board.
Yeah, should have done it the other way around.
I'll play New Angeles. Yeah. No, because I'd played it a couple of turns ago. So I went, okay, scored that. And very keen to get me to trash it. So I thought, yeah, cool, there you go, it's gone. I'll play the other one out of my hand. Next turn, did the same thing, ran again, stole some agendas. Oh, that trashes. Yeah, I'll play the other one out of my hand. You can see them just going, really? But
do your running first, then play.
Well, no, because I was playing them before and kind of just taking the chance because
it might not have been. Yeah,
and I might have just got shot in the face if they'd managed to land tags on me. So it was necessary to do it. They were just kind of going, "Why have you got them all in your hand?" But it was so enjoyable. I mean, like you said, I found that by round 3-4, I was up playing with the Picker Boys. And I'm not new to the tournaments, but I'm very new to high end Netrunner.
Yeah. So you kind of went winning, not winning so much.
I went winning, drawing, smashed.
Yes.
But playing against people that were some of the better people in the country, people that win a lot of store tournaments, people that do very well on the ranking things on Netrunner UK group and all that kind of stuff. They're all really nice people.
Yeah.
And being able to sit and have a chat. And I chatted to the person that got Kronos Protocol. I was like, I wanted that one, but Exile's bum, I don't want him. So I didn't bid on that.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly, because I believe it was Alice, that then whinged that I had the one she wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted Gabe. I'm like, what? How did that work? So yeah, it was a fantastic event. And like I said, I learnt a lot.
Yeah.
And it made me change slightly what I've been playing recently.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent. So we do we want to reveal our rankings?
Yes.
In reverse order?
Yes.
So as you may expect, I was lower down. But however, after losing the... I think I drew, lost, 1-1. If I remember correctly, but it was a long time ago. And I did make notes on my phone, but you can see that I'm tired because the quality of them just kind of degenerates and they kind of start making no sense.
I tried looking at mine and I'm gone, win versus this, loss versus this, win versus this, loss versus... Didn't write that one down. This versus... Time digit and right, cool. Obviously, someone spoke to me when I was writing that one. And they kind of just descend into gibberish.
Yeah, much like my play. I got better after lunch. I'm not good if I'm not fed.
Little packet of Snickers.
I managed to crawl up to what I feel was quite a respectable 21st. For my first ever go, from 31 up to 32, an extra 10 places were climbed.
Yep.
So I was quite happy with that.
Yeah, I pretty much went 50-50 on wins, losses and draws. It came out very even at the end and placed 19th.
Like I said, as I said earlier, won my first two games, rounds, 2-0.
You looked really happy at that point.
I was, yeah, because it was kind of like I've played small events, and it playing against real people in the real world was a new thing.
Yeah.
I don't really, because Jinteki's one thing, but it's very different playing against a person.
Yes, yeah.
And because I like reading them more than game state.
The Jinteki player, there's a Jinteki player that I played who had proper deadpan expression throughout our very first game when she was running, and then there was one point where I was like, I need to score a thing to win. That they'd called time.
Yeah.
They called 5 minutes left, and I was like, I'm losing. I need to find agendas. And I was trying to do that thing where you fish for information by going, I might do this, I might do that, and you're trying to see them give something away. And she just looked at me, completely deadpan, and then just raised one eyebrow, and I felt so belittled and put into my place. Just going, I know what you're doing, and it's not going to work. And then I ran into a trap and died. It's like seeing a master at work.
Yes,
it was very good.
I won my first 2. I drew against the horrible HB person. We won 1 each. That obviously lost with next. I played Dave in round 4.
Yeah.
And went, I'm playing against someone that's really good. And he's a good player. He's a lovely person. I could tell he was playing things that weren't massively in his comfort zone.
Yeah.
But none of us really were. We drew 1-1 in the end. I think he said it multiple times, I remember, during the game, going, no, I don't think you're trying to kill me. Discards a Plascrete. No, you've not had anything. No, you're not trying to kill me. Discards another Plascrete. 2 turns later, boom, dead. Which I felt really happy about in that childish kind of like, you're really good and I beat you. And then he beat me. And that was really good. And then the last round, I got smashed.
Yeah.
I cannot remember for the life of me what corp they played, and then there was some form of Shaper bullshit.
Yeah.
And
I remember
I sat there going, I run into the server normally, like playing against your noise or criminals or something. And I'm going, cool, they can get through this, but they can't get through that. I feel safe. This goes there, that goes there, this trashes, this pay this, I do this, I do that, I do this, that. I've not spent any clicks yet, I'm doing this and that and then I get in there and win, and I went, fuck was that? Shape of bullshit. It's rubbish in it. Don't even really like shape. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that's amazing. Yeah. Like, I just sat there going, wow.
What were you playing today, Joe?
I've been playing Shape of Bullshit.
Yes. Yeah.
Jamie, you've been saying this to me for a long time. You'd be really good at this, because people that listen to the podcast and stuff will know I have a thing for rules and cards and memorising stuff, and I can have looked through a pack once of like the new data pack or something, or not have seen it for ages, and if Jamie goes, oh, that card that does this thing, I can tell you what the card is, probably what it costs, what faction it's in, how much influence it is. I can still build a Warhammer 40,000 army from 4 editions ago from memory. You know, having that kind of thing seems to play well for me. So I've always hated Shaper because I just don't find them particularly interesting. But actually, the amount of options you have if you know your deck are immense. So I'm trying to see if I can get myself into a position with that I enjoy it.
Has it changed the way you've been playing since the tournament, Jamie?
Yeah. I mean, well, firstly, I went straight back to Shaper. I thought, okay, I've experienced Anarch now. It was an experience. I went back to familiar. But I thought what I'd do is, because I'd been spending a lot of time with Kit and trying to make Surfer work, I instead thought I'd play around with Smoke, L-Smoke Skovac. And it's okay. It's just because the whole stealth credit side of things, which I was quite used to playing, but it's so lean. You have to be really, really careful with every single credit. Even with Netmercure coming out, which is amazing, and the fact that it self-triggers and it does all sorts of wonderful things.
Oh, it's fantastic as a card.
You still have to be really, really careful with your credits. And I've just found it's not that much fun to play, personally. So I'm moving away from that, and I'm actually going to start looking at Anarch again, but a different style of Anarch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has changed me a bit in the fact that I'm starting to see other ways of playing the
Yeah.
game.
Well, I mean, this is on the things that, like I know, we've all changed quite a lot because you started liking Anarch and Wayland,
Yeah.
and you're now playing Criminals and HB.
Yeah, well, since playing the tournament, I went back and played Noise a couple of times in our sort of bi-monthly pub runner
Yeah.
that we do. And if you're in the Peterborough area, please let us know. We can add you to the group and let you know. We'd love it if people come down.
Yeah, definitely.
They're kind of informally every second Thursday, but sometimes
Ish,
it changes if there's stuff going on. But we let people know there's a Facebook group and stuff like that. So yeah, let us know if you're about. I went back to Noise and went, I don't like this, and we tried to rebuild the deck, and
Yeah.
I went, I'll just be Criminals. So I've sort of changed in that regard, and yeah, I took the cybernetics. Now the cybernetics I quite like, but reducing your own hand size as well was a little bit annoying, and I was finding that I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't have a lot of ability therefore to res ice, and I have tried the same deck. I literally just swapped in the new Architects of Tomorrow as the ID. Joe is shaking his head because he hasn't managed to beat it yet.
No.
And I'm really enjoying that. It's a very different feel, very different way of
I
playing.
nearly beat you earlier.
You did. I beat you on the
fucking lucked out.
last. You needed to.
I would have
you
won
had,
the next turn.
You had one click to advance an agenda to a scoreable point, and then
And
you'd have
win.
won.
Yep.
And what did I do? I ran into R&D and stole agendas.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
inside jobbed my Enigma and
Spent every
oh.
credit I had.
which you had miscalculated, but luckily had one spare.
Yes.
Just
Yeah, I was like, it costs 7 to get in, and you went, no, it costs 8, and I went, I've got 8.
yeah, I get one card.
I get one card, yeah.
Agenda win.
Yeah, in my last, because I only had 8 cards left, and both of my R&D interfaces were sat.
Yeah.
The other thing I've changed as well is that I'm a big fan of Jinteki. I have been from the start of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the bluffing aspect. It's probably one of my favourite aspects of the entire system. But for change, I thought I'd branch out and try something else as well, in the same spirit of trying something different with Anarch. I was looking at lots of different decks that just do something a bit different, because I like things that are a bit different. I don't want to just play the latest big meta deck.
I completely understand that. That's one of the things I had looking at the way the game has been going recently and seeing, like, because we watched Worlds.
We did.
Which 3 months ago, if you'd have said, oh, you're going to watch the live finals of a card game with your mate, I'd have gone, you're crazy, shut up.
For hours and hours.
Yes,
and hours.
while playing games and watching it and such like. But yeah, I don't like that homogeneity, that similarity between things. So I'm with you on
It
that.
feels slightly monotonous.
Yeah, doing something different.
Yeah, so my most recent build has been based around Next Design, which is quite nice because you get that nice initial first turn setup of some ice if you have it in hand, and you get to draw your hand back up to full size. But that with the Next Ice combined with the Grail Ice.
Yeah.
This was loosely based off. I did a bit of research beforehand before diving too far into it. There was quite a popular deck on Netrunner DB called the Next King of England.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it was loosely based off that, and then tweaked and adapted to fit the local meta a bit. For example, things that mess with Null, because Joe was playing with Null.
Yeah.
And
it would have failed if I'd remembered in any of the games we played to put that fucking card that was supposed to be in there at the beginning. I couldn't get past Lotus Fields. Now, I was supposed to have Net Ready Eyes, and it's been in the deck build since the beginning, but I went, I'll put that in later, and never did. And every time went, I still can't find it.
Yeah, so I've been playing with HB, and it's been really interesting. I mean, it is a very different style to what I'm used to with Jinteki. I'm used to having very light ice, if any. And
just sort of gently frosted over.
Yeah. I'm playing a very wide game previously with lots of traps, and now it's the traditional kind of HB build 1 or 2 big servers. Especially, actually, the one thing that does make it slightly different is building 2 servers as opposed to 1. Because I'm running Sandbergs to make the ice even heavier. So you need to get that protected. Yeah, but it's quite good fun, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so I think it's been a great experience broadening our Netrunner Horizons and meeting some lovely people while we were there.
Yeah, and I would dare say you're almost looking forward to going to the
I am
Championship.
actually, yeah. I
which,
am
again,
looking forward to this.
If we said to you a couple of months back,
There's a couple points in the last in sort of the 6 to 8 weeks between starting this section of our podcast and going to that tournament where I've gone, why did I agree to this?
yeah.
Just from that kind of that nervousness, that apprehension.
But I mean, something.
But I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, something we've said, I believe in past episodes, and something that came up during the sadly lost interview, talking to Richard, was that the Netrunner community in general suffers from very, very, very few problems. Because if you play Magic, you always have those people like, I spent more money than you, fuck off, I win.
Yeah.
Or that try and, like I said, it always feels like there's a slightly sneaky aspect to things, or I'm not sure what it is, but
yeah.
I don't like it. Like I said, competitiveness can bring out the worst in people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to with Netrunner. Everyone seems quite friendly and chatty and like just quite pleasant.
Yes.
And Richard, who is a long-time player and has been to many more tournaments than we have, even collectively, was saying the same thing. He's like, I've never really seen any issues. No one's ever sort of been like, oh my god, they're doing this.
Yeah. And even the fact that, because we've sort of posted this podcast out into the wild, on sort of StimHack and various other places, and having people asking us when our next episode's coming up, like, and what we're doing.
Proper people that other people have heard of.
So they've been really supportive, so thank you everyone.
Just in general.
Thanks to Chris from One Last Click for the support recently of encouragement of trying to,
because we did miss an episode because we had the technological mess up, so we'll be back onto a regular schedule now that Christmas is over. It's winter, we don't have fun things to do in winter. We'll go to the pub and play Netrunner.
Fun things to do. And play New Angeles and General.
I want to play New Angeles again.
Yeah.
Yes, and Polaris, the RPG. I will get you all playing that soon.
Yeah, I'm up for Polaris.
Yeah, I was just going to give my 5 tips as a newbie tournament player. They're very, very quick. So first of all, make sure you eat and drink. We had a nice breakfast beforehand. I had an enormous slice of cake for breakfast. It was amazing. Big cheesecake from a department store and a fry-up. But I didn't drink enough water, and I think partly me going squiffy and being absolutely rubbish in my third game was down to that.
Yeah.
It matters more than you think, because you're really, really burning energy. You're not running around and dancing and cartwheeling and stuff, but you are burning lots of mental energy. So, look after yourself throughout the day. Let your games go. As we said, there's that processing that happens after Netrunner quite often, and you need to start with a blank slate. You don't want to be in the position of having information left over in your head from previous games that cause you to make a mistake.
Yeah, or trying to do something you can't because you haven't got that card installed anymore.
Yes.
Or being really angry that ABT screwed you out of a game.
and then not playing as well the next time.
Definitely.
It's still there. You kind of have to take a deep breath and start from fresh. I'd say if it's a new tournament, I didn't have any expectations of winning. I was hoping that as long as I didn't come last, I would feel okay. If I had come last, you guys wouldn't have seen me since. But go along to your tournament and think, I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to play a game I like. And if I play someone who's really good, that's an amazing learning experience to see how people that are really good play this. And take it as a learning thing that will give you tips and tricks and things you can take back to your local games or to your friendly games, and will make you a better, more knowledgeable player. Don't be afraid to ask or let people know. As we said, what Joe said, and we've all agreed, the community is lovely. My first game, I went, I'm sorry if I'm slow. This is my first tournament, and the guy was like, oh, that's fine, and we had a little chat about it, and it really put me at ease. I had someone R&D interface into my Chrysium gridded R&D, and I was like, do you still get to? And I felt kind of like a naughty little kid going, do you still get the thing? And it was like, oh no, it's not a thing. And he explained the interaction between the two cards meant that Chrysium grid, I may as well have set fire to it. I didn't want to be like causing a scene or causing. And it was like, no, it was fine. Just if you don't understand something, just ask people. Everyone I played was more than happy to explain what they were doing and what was going on. And my last one would just be, don't be a douchebag.
That's just general good life advice.
Yeah, it is good life advice.
There is one thing I will add to this.
Yeah.
If you are playing something and friends play as well, if you can take a tournament buddy with you,
that's great.
It is very, very helpful. Just to have someone to talk to between rounds.
Yeah.
So if you're not, if you don't suddenly go, oh, you seem nice. Like if I will go to things on my own and find a group of people that don't seem to like.
The thought of going to something on my own actually it brings back the terror.
Yeah. But like I went and played, and I've done it for a couple of times now. Playing
weird because
like,
my job involves standing up in front of strangers and talking to them. And then interacting.
But they are instantly put on a level below you.
Well, there's a hierarchy
you are in charge.
and an expectation. Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas when you're just in the wild, just like meeting someone at a thing,
peers,
anything could happen. But if they ask you to get them some bread, and you haven't got any bread,
then you hack their servers and steal all their agendas and laugh.
I don't know anything, and just it's crazy.
Speaking of server hackings, as the last thing, Jinteki.net
was hacked into a couple days ago as we record.
There is a part of me that finds the irony of it really funny.
Yes.
But if you're listening and you did it, fuck you. Because why?
It was a big thing. There were thousands of databases taken and a standard buy your information back message.
Yeah, it's data ransom stuff, which is crappy.
But it makes Netrunner seem very very now.
A little bit.
But yeah, damn criminals.
I know, coming over here, taking our databases.
Yeah.
Just not
how many agenda points Jinteki.net was worth?
7, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
But
it's either 7 or 1, depending on what we're ranking against.
The password data was encrypted, but everyone's kind of lost their accounts and stuff and has to sort of restart. But so if you do have troubles with Jinteki.net, that's why.
Yeah, and remember it's a free service, and don't bitch at them because something bad happened.
Yeah, it's a lovely free service.
Yeah. It's amazing, and we've said it before, and we'll go back to playing games once everything's up and running again properly.
Yes, we've recorded some of our actual plays on there. Because it's very useful. Easier than setting up the camera, and I have to shave my beard so I don't look like an angry tramp.
Yeah, but also there are times when we've got an hour free, which isn't enough time to travel to someone's house, set things up, etc., where we can record something online.
Yeah, definitely. That was Charity Gift. That was my first tournament. Sounds like My Little Pony. My first tournament. Like it comes in a pink box.
Well, there's the cover image.
And yeah, what we thought we'd just finish off with is our impressions of the upcoming Terminal Directive expansion for Netrunner. It's quite an odd one if you haven't kept up. Now, Jamie wrote a really good article about this when the news broke, which I'll pop a link to wherever it is you may be. If I've embedded this somewhere, feel free to click through to the channel and you'll find the links and stuff in the descriptions.
Or head to criticaltwits.com.
Yeah,
it'll be on there.
Yeah, have a look on there. It's one of the most popular things you've ever done. So well done, Jamie. But it's really interesting. It's a new direction for the game. It's an expansion. All the cards are tournament legal, as far as I can tell.
I think there might be some non-tournament legal special cards in there, but the majority of them are.
Yeah.
There are game only cards, which you might stick shit to.
And X number of
new tournament legal shiny cards that people were gonna want.
Yes. And they've added kind of a narrative to the story, and they've added kind of legacy mechanics, which are mechanics that linger on as the game is played.
If you lose a game, you will take the I lost that game sticker, put it on your card, and that will affect what happens in the next game.
Yes, and there are packs of cards to open as you go through, so you don't get them all at the start.
It might be after game 3, if the corporation one, open this pack. If the runner one, open this pack.
You are investigating a murder.
Yes.
One side will be the runner and one side will be the corp for the duration of the game, or the multiple games that you'll play in sequence, linked together. And you can choose 2 different factions for each side. So there are HB and Wayland, and you have Shaper and Criminal, and that will immediately get you to open different packs. So
Yes.
there is some replayability there.
Well,
as
I was just thinking that we'll all probably end up buying a set.
yeah.
So my brain just went, me and Brian can play. I can play Shaper and currently Wayland, while you would play HB and Criminal.
yeah, yeah.
That's actually what we're playing deck-wise at the moment.
Yeah, it'd be quite good, and you can sort of play them differently.
Yeah.
It's an interesting take. Legacy games are kind of the new vogue in
Yes.
gaming, I think. We've
Yeah.
had Pandemic Legacy.
Risk Legacy.
Risk Legacy was kind of the first one, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Pandemic Legacy kind of went, haha, and we'll attach it to a good game. Because
Yeah.
Risk is okay, but it's
but it's
very
not
old school, and
amazing.
it's 60 years old now.
Yeah.
It has...
It's aged better than Monopoly.
it has definitely.
I have 4 versions of Risk and they all have different rules.
Excellent. Have you got Risk Legacy?
No.
We've got a half-played Risk Legacy.
Mhm.
I also have a half-played Pandemic Legacy as well.
Although, interestingly, I can see this being nowhere near half-played. Like, we will
Oh, gotcha.
play the
We'll
crap
go all the
out
way
of
through
this.
Yes, yeah, because it's attaching to a game that we're playing more often anyway.
Yeah.
Seafall has been the latest
Yes.
big release.
Darling of the Legacy
But
games.
there are more and more of these sort of legacy games coming up
Yes.
that give you a narrative that link your games together, that turn it into sort of almost an RPG style campaign.
Yeah.
And as tabletop role players, as well as board gamers and
There's that
such like,
bit of appeal.
But-
we're into that.
But
yeah.
obviously, the downside of this is, we're coming up to tournament season. We're going to be entering this tournament soon.
yeah,
And if these cards come out and are tournament legal,
we might see cards.
we might see cards as spoilers before
Yeah.
we get to them in the story of the game.
Yeah.
And we're going to want to know what a lot of the cards are because we want to know we have the best cards for our decks.
Yeah.
So I don't want those spoilers because I want to experience the story. I want to experience the legacy game.
Yeah, it's kind of bolting on something that has a very different approach to something that already has approach A.
Yeah,
You've got
like-
approach B, and the two can, that legacy versus that kind of competitive living card game. I want to know what every possible card is
Yeah.
in case I come across it or want to use it.
Now, it's interesting because I think that it's going to drop after the Tour Championship season. So that will take away some of that. I think the community as a whole, again, on the back of just then they're not really dicks, are going to be like, yeah, cool, we're okay with not spoiling because we're aware, even if it doesn't interest us, that other people.
the Facebook groups and on Reddit, I've already seen people saying,
Yes.
"Can we avoid spoilers?"
Well, I put a
please?"
thing up saying, look, if anyone sees anything, cool, put a post up, but put a big thing saying this has spoilers in it, and make sure people don't have to see it.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't put just full card art with everything on there because it will piss people off.
yeah. Pop a link.
Yeah.
But then it will probably be on ginteki.net as soon as it's released.
Yeah, but
Yes.
that's your fault for looking at it, I suppose.
Well, also, I plan on buying this the moment it releases and playing the crap out of it as soon as I can.
Yeah, I kind of want to go into a little bubble and ignore
Yeah.
ignore the tournament
We'll have
scene
a
and
day
that kind
or
of
a weekend where we just go, right, cool, sit, play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to play against Aaron or something and you play it.
Well, I mean, either or. We can
Well,
sit
to
and
be honest, if we're still competing at that point and we've still got our pairs going, that pairs us up
Yeah,
naturally.
it does.
It just depends if what we're doing afterwards, whether we
Yeah.
break up the things after Jamie and I are victorious.
It's true.
I'll do well.
Your performance was not being observed.
No. Yeah.
Aaron's a good player.
Aaron is a good player.
Aaron is good. He's got
He
very
has-
good with Adam.
Yeah, he doesn't have the practice
Yeah.
or some of the cards because he's got
Yeah.
the most limited collection.
I would say, having played a lot more games and also been more active on sort of ginteki.net, having gone to this tournament,
You have the advantage.
I've got the advantage. So it's kind of mine to throw away at this point.
It is, yes.
I've played a lot more games. I've played more with strangers. We talked a lot about ginteki.net last pod.
Now, Aaron has played tournaments and stuff before, so he does have that. It's not him going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
How does this work? What? Yeah,
Like,
but it's not
yeah.
Netrunner tournaments.
No, but they're
No.
not that different.
Yeah. So
He says, crossing his fingers, hoping Aaron does well.
yeah, so it'll be interesting. So hopefully our next episode will be us giving you the results of our competition.
Our next dedicated Netrunner episode.
Yeah, sorry, yes. Our next episode is going to actually be all about the two latest Android universe board games, because
Yes.
we've been playing New Angeles
Yeah.
today, which is basically an evil corporate boardroom simulator with added citizen death and backstabbing. And we've also been playing Mainframe, which is like trying to partition the same hard drive as your mates at the same time while elbowing each other.
Quietly.
Quietly.
Yeah.
Very quietly. Very sinister game played in silence because it's quite thinky.
Yeah.
So if you do enjoy this episode, feel free to subscribe, because then it will pop up in your feed wherever you may be that we're going to talk about the board games. I would assume most people listening to a Netrunner podcast also probably like board games and would be interested in the board game setting.
Or if not, this is a really good way to get into some amazingly good board
Yeah,
games.
'cause
Yes.
I think as well these are good games, but also I think as a Netrunner player,
You
the
get so much
whole
out of them.
theme
Yeah.
of them is such an in to that.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
that,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Excellent. So thank you very much for listening. I've been Brian Ennis.
I've been Joe Lewin.
And I've been Jeremy Myland.
We have been 3/4 of the Critical Twits. Next time we'll have the other quarter.
Mhm.
We'll make him do all the talking next time.
Yeah,
It'll be fine. Yeah. He never shuts up anyway.
No, I know.
It's been nice. It's been nice. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. If you if you have anything to add, if you have maybe a different angle on anything that we've said, or you just wanted to maybe find out what we included, if any of the decks we've talked about sound interesting to you,
Yeah.
let us know. We can clarify. We might even be able to pop some links up for you and
I
let
can
show you
pop them
what
onto
they're at.
Netrunner DB if people want to read what we're playing
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah, so
or if
so
you-
let us know.
Or if you've got a deck that you think is a bit out there that Jamie might like.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
definitely.
Or is some kind of super competitive, amazing shape of bullshit that I might enjoy.
Yes.
Please do let us know.
The shittier the ball, the better, as far as Joe's concerned.
Oh, yes.
And if you can tell me which actual criminal to play, because I'm set on the faction, but I don't know which one
Leela.
to play.
Leela.
Can someone make me a card with her with one eye and purple hair?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Then I'll play it. It'll be fine.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you very much for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.